Hello everyone, it's Katrina from the Alluring Bead Boutique, and I'm back today. We're going to do another tutorial for the quick and easy holiday gift projects. I've done these two cubic right angle weave ones already. They're on mine. You've been getting a lot of good feedback on those. I just want to quickly, this is what I normally do, but I'm going to show you a couple things that I've been working on that I really loved. Now, this design is by Jonna from B4 Backup. You can find her here on YouTube. This was her rain, based on the TV series Rain, her rain design. And this is the version that I did of them. And I just think they came out spectacularly beautiful. So thank you, Jonna, for a great design. And thank you for sharing it. I just love the way those came out. Now, I'm going to show you something else. Denise Matthews has some tutorials on her channel that show you how to make these post earrings by wire wrapping around a bead or a crystal. So I've made this red pair using round beads, and then I made this green pair using some rondelles. And then I just used different crystals here, making simple loops, and that's what we're going to work on today, is something similar to those. And then I also made this little pair using some fire polish. Change the beads up a little bit, but they're really cute. So I will try to put the links down below for Shauna's video and also for Denise's on these post earrings that are really cute. They're a little more difficult to make, so if you're not very experienced, you may want to just simply go with a different type of ear wire or an ear post that's already pre-made. And then these are just a couple of little pairs I came up with that I can sell, inexpensively at my craft show that I have coming up on November 25th. But they came out really cute. I used some chain on this one, on this set, some pre-made chain, and then I did, of course, this length is with my simple loops, and then I utilized a little bit of chain on this particular one over here. And then here's another pair I made using some jet bicones and some Swarovskis. I got these little bicones as a free gift, and I don't know the color, so I can't tell you what they are. And then I used these little fluted tube beads that I had gotten a long time ago from Fire Mountain Gems at the end for the dangle. And I just used some different jump rings up here at the top to make one side a little bit longer than the other to give some, dimension to them. And then I think I showed these ones before, these little pearl, these are all wired wrapped links here. And I want to get to this video pretty soon, but I just wanted to remind you again, these were just some little beautiful little culture pearls that I got really inexpensively when they were on sale at Fire Mountain Gems back in the summer. And I've just kind of had them stashed back, but I'm going to be using those a lot here in the coming weeks to prepare for my show. And then I want to show you one other thing. I was at Hobby Lobby last night, and they had 50% off their sterling this week, sterling and sterling dipped. So I saw a little pair of earrings. I'm sure you've seen this style of ear wire right here. These obviously are not sterling. What I did was I took a picture of the ear wire, and I came home, and this is just some practice metal that I used, practice wire. But I was able to pretty much duplicate the design exactly. And I do have some sterling and gold filled wire that I'm going to use this technique on. And I might do a quick video for this after today. I shoot today's video. But I did go ahead and pick up these sterling ear wires. It says $5.99 here for 3 pairs. Well, because they were 50% off, I got 6 pairs for the $5.99, which I didn't think was too bad for $9.25 sterling, so I went ahead and grabbed a few. All right, folks, so what we're going to be working on today is perfecting our simple loops, and we're going to do a quick and easy project to go along with my theme. So what I'll do is I'm going to get my materials and everything gathered up, and I'll come back and we'll talk about that. All right, so I'm back, and I thought maybe we should go ahead and talk about the tools before we jump into the materials. I'm going to show you guys how to make up to perfect your simple loops. And I'm going to show you 3 methods. I'm going with using 3 different sets of pliers. I have a multi-step looper, looping pliers here. I'm going to show you how to use these for a simple loop. I have my round nose pliers here, and I already have them marked with a Sharpie, but before I come back, I'm going to go ahead and remark my lines so you can see them just a little bit better on here. And then I also have the one-step looper, and this is the 1.5 millimeter loop. This is the only pair that I have at the moment, but they work really great for doing beaded links. You're going to have a really good pair of flush cutters, and these are my brand new Zurons that I got, and I got it pretty cheap on Amazon. To open and close the links, you need some chain nose pliers and flat nose pliers, and I've got this pair here. This one's actually need to be recoated, but I'm really rough and harsh when I'm working with my wire, so I bought this stuff called Tool Magic. And what you do is you dip the ends of your pliers into this stuff and you let it dry. And it puts this nice little rubberized coating on the outside of your tools so that when you mash, you don't make indentations into your wires easily. And it works really good. You can see I've used this pair a lot, these chain nose here, and I've used them so much that I've actually broken my stuff loose. But the stuff actually peels off you can peel it right off once it's dry and everything, and it starts getting like this. And then you can just re-dip your tools. And then you just let it dry. It says on here how long to let it dry for. But anyhow, so those are the tools that you're going to need. You're also going to need a ruler of some sort. All right. I'll clean this up and we'll come back and we'll talk about the materials. The materials for this project are relatively few. You're going to need some beads. And for the pair I'm going to work on right now, I'm going to use 4 6mm beads. And then I'm also going to use 4 4mm beads. And these are the London Blue Topaz Swarovski crystals, bicone crystals. And obviously you're going to need some wire. And I want to talk to you about wire. Recently, I decided I would try this, the Beaded German wire. And I absolutely love working with it. I used the gold color for the free PDF I have that you can download off my website. If you're a subscriber, it will be free for you. And it's a step-by-step with photos, everything you need to really perfect your simple loops and beaded links. Anyhow, it worked out so well that I went back and I got some in the silver. 22 gauge is what I'll be using for my links. And then I also have some 20 gauge here that I'll be using for my findings. So I'm back, and we're going to start our first example using these one-step blooper pliers. Cut yourself off just about 5 or 6 inch piece of your 22 gauge wire, and make sure that you have a flush cut on your working end. So take the wire into your flush cutters with the back side facing towards your working wire and snip off the end. We're going to take our one-step loopers, which look like this. There's a hole on this side, and on this side you have this channel that you feed your wire through. So I'm going to feed my wire through this channel, and I'm going to poke it out the hole on the other side like that, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my pliers and just close them. And there you see I have my first little simple loop. Now I'm going to pick up my bead onto my wire. Let's start with this 6mm Swarovski. And I'm going to take the wire and put it back into the pliers. Feed it into the channel and poke it through the hole. Well, it might be doing that. Let me come up just a little, folks. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to feed this wire through. until my crystal touches the outside edge of that little channel guard right there. And I'm going to make sure my wire is pushed forward like that. And I'm going to switch hands, guys, because I'm left-handed. But anyhow, what you're looking for is for your wire to be pushed all the way up, and make sure that your bead is on the outside of that little groove right here. And then just squeeze it. And now you have your loop on both ends, and they're the same size. Then I'm just going to give them just a little bit of a twist here so that they line up properly. And to do that, I'm going to use my rubber-coated pliers. Like that. So that one opening is coming towards you and the other opening is going away from you. And there's my beaded link. Alright, so I'm back, and I have once again cut my ends of my wire flush. And I went ahead and darkened the little red lines on my pliers so you can hopefully see a little bit better what I'm doing. So now for the next beaded link, I'm going to be using my round nose pliers. I'm going to place the flush cut end of my wire between the two barrels of my round nose pliers. And what you want to make sure is that you can't see any wire poking up over the top of that barrel like so. Then I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to roll away from myself while I mash with my thumb, just like that, around my plier. Then I'm going to open my plier slightly and make sure that my wire is still on my line when I close them up. And then keep rolling until my wires meet. Now I'm going to overshut the runway just a little bit. And I'm going to use my little rubber-coated pliers here to finagle that back around. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. I'm going to put my loop right back onto my pliers so that my long end is coming out in the middle, like so. And then all I'm going to do is just tilt back just slightly like that. And then I'm going to take my pliers and pinch my wires back closed a little bit. But what you want is you want for this to look like an eye pin. I think I need to do it just a little bit more. There we go. Now I can take and squeeze gently and close this little loop back up. Just like that. Now I'm going to put my next bead on. And I've made several of these over the last week or so. So I'm going to show you what works best for me and where I have my line marked on my pliers. I take my ruler, just like this, and I put my wire up against the ruler, and I butt it up to where the crystal is on the edge. I take my flush cutter, and I count up to 3/8. 1, 2, 3. So right here's my 3/8 mark. So I'm just going to reach in and grab my wire right there at the 3/8 inch mark. Then I'm going to come in just a little bit because you don't want to cut on the tip of your nice cutters. Now I'm going to cut my wire just like that. Don't ever cut here on the end of your tips. Come down into the middle to cut. Then I'm going to pick up my round nose pliers again. Now, I want to keep in mind my opening right here is, I want it to face towards me. So I'm going to hold it like so, where it's perpendicular with the line. You see how this loop is facing this way? It's perpendicular with the line on my pliers. So now that when I grab my wire, once again, I make sure that I don't have any sticking up over the top, and I want to be on my mark, just like that. So now, when I go to roll my wire away from me again, go as far as you can, open just slightly, come back down, and roll again. And hopefully, you will get this in here where it goes. So now you need to stick your plier back in and gently go backwards, just like we did on the other end. And now finish closing your loop on this end. And you can just squeeze with your pliers real gently. If you don't go gently, you can really mess up your loop. So there is my little simple loops beaded link using the round nose pliers. As you can see, this one is kind of loose. The bead is loose on the wire, and I don't much care for it. And that was using these fancy smancy one-step bloopers. The one I just made using my round nose pliers is a lot less, the bead is a lot less rolly, I should say, or able to move along my beaded link. And I like that a lot better. Now I'm going to show you guys the favorite way I make them. And it seems to work out best for me every time. So what we're going to use this time are the MultiStep Bloopers. I went ahead and made a flush end with my flush cutters on my wire. And you can see that on this set of pliers, I have 6 different size barrels. I'm going to use the smallest one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my wire in just exactly like I do on my round nose pliers to where it's flush. The end of my wire is flush with the barrel. I can't feel it here and I can't see it. Then I'm going to take my, once again, I'm going to put my thumb right here and I'm going to roll away from myself. And I'm going to roll as far as I can go. Then I'm going to gently loosen up my barrels here, come back down, and roll until my wires meet. Let me see if I can get you an angle here where you can actually see it. And see where I've rolled to where the 2 wires come together. And there's what I have. Now, I'm going to take it off the pliers. I'm going to put it back on the barrel so that the long part of my wire is in the middle of between the 2 barrels. And I'm going to bring the other barrel down to a little bit of an angle, just like that. Then I'm going to just gently roll back, just a little bit. And see there, I have my beautiful little simple loop. And I got to tell you, these are my favorite pliers for making simple loops. They come out practically perfect every time. And so that's the one that I recommend that you invest in this set of pliers right here. These barrels are great for making ear wires. You can make all these different size loops. They are just super handy. All right, so now we need to make the other side. Once again, I'm going to bring my ruler in, and I'm going to do the same thing I did and go with the 3/8 mark. So I've butted my little crystal here up against the flat edge of my ruler, just like that. I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to grab the wire right there on the mark. Then I'm going to come in and just gently slide it over before I snip, because I don't want to ruin my beautiful new pliers. Oops, I've had a little small problem. Grab my beads. Okay, so here we are again. And we still want to do the same thing. We want to make sure one loop goes in one direction and one goes in the opposite direction. So come in and grab your wire between your barrels and make sure that the open end of your previous loop is sitting perpendicular, like so. And on these, you really don't have to make any marks because these barrels are exactly the same size. So all we're going to do is just come in and roll using your thumb. Go as far as you can, open just a little, come back, and finish your row. So there I have this side done. So now what I need to do is come back in, and I want to make sure that the longer side is in between. So we'll see what that is. So the open end of my previous loop is facing me. And then I'm going to get on that little angle again and just roll back slightly just to straighten that loop out, just like that. And then I can gently close it, well, or leave it open until I connect my links. And so there I have this beautiful beaded link, and you can see that my links, my loops are almost perfectly identical. And folks, that is my favorite way to make them. And so let's do another one. And for the project, you'll need 4. I'm going to redo this one that I did with the one-step looper here just in a minute. But you're going to need your 4 large bicones on a beaded link. And you'll need 2 of your smaller bicones on a beaded link. So I'm going to show you one more time with this set of pliers. I've already cut my end flush. So I'm going to come in and grab my wire. I'm going to roll as far as I can go, open gently, come back down, and finish my row till my wires are touching. Then I'm just going to let up. I'm going to come back in at this little bit of an angle on the back of my wire with my other barrel. See how the long wire is coming out between my 2 barrels here? I'm just going to gently give a little roll back, just like that, right there. And there's my one end. So now, let's do a 4mm. And get my ruler. Get my bead in place here where I want it to be. Count up my 3/8, 1, 2, 3. Grab with my snippers. Bring it down into my cutters like that. Grab my wire with my pliers again. And then make sure that I have this other link facing straight up and down like that. And then I'm going to roll on this side. And I'm going to tilt back just a little bit. And I'm going to close this back up. Sorry, folks. So that I have my next beaded link. I'm kind of thinking I got this one a little goofy, but something always happens when I'm working on video. Sometimes this little wire will actually slip, and then you might have a little bit of a problem. And I'm just going to take my little round nose pliers, make a slight adjustment, and I still have a pretty good beaded link. All right, so now I need to do this one, and I'm going to fix this one that I don't like that came off of the one-step loopers. I'll have to cut another little piece of wire so I can make my next 3 links. And folks, then we'll be back. Okay, so I apologize that I had forgotten to mention, it is in the materials list below, but I forgot to mention about the 2 head pins. So you're going to need 2 little head pins here, and these are just some little small silver plate ones that I ordered off of Amazon. What we're going to do is the same technique. We're going to put our little crystal, these are the last 2 4mm, onto the head pin, and we are going to come up and measure 3/8, just like we've been doing. So 1, 2, 3, and just going to have to snip off just a tiny little bit here with the flush cutters, and you want that end flush, just like that. Then we are going to roll our little loop just the same way that we've been doing. And I'm going to go ahead and use these multi-step bloopers again for this one. And I'm just going to roll around and form another little loop. Right there on my little head pin. And then I'm going to come back just like I've been doing. And I'm going to tilt it back just a little bit. And finish closing my loop. I'll use my little chain nose pliers for that. And then just do the second one the exact same way. So now I'm going to make a quick little pair of ear wires using my 20 gauge wire. I've cut myself 2 pieces of my 20 gauge wire, and I've cut them flush on each end. and they're 1.5 inches long. So I'm going to line those little puppies up just like that. And so that these ends are even, I'm going to get my multi-step pliers out again. And once again, I'm going to use the smallest barrel. And I'm going to go ahead and do both wires at the same time. So I've got those flush into my barrels. And I'm just going to roll using my thumb as I push along and get myself a loop, a simple loop made on this end of my wire. Then I'm going to come back around. Actually, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to pull them off the little pliers here. So there I have my 2 matching loops, the same size on my wires. So now I'm going to line them up this way. And I'm going to grab my pliers again, and this time I'm going to use this second to the largest barrel. I'm going to take the loops that I just made, and I'm going to make sure that they're going this way, facing towards the fattest barrel. And I'm bringing them down so that they are flush against the barrel, just like that. Then I'm just going to take my forefinger back here, and once again I'm using the second largest barrel, and I'm just going to roll like that and push with my finger until I have the shape that I want for my ear wires. Now I'm going to line them up one more time. And I'm not concerning myself with the ends of the wire. I'm concerning myself with the loops that I made. I want those to be perfectly even, and I want this part in the center to be lined up as well. Now I'm going to come in with the pliers right here and make sure that they, these are even along the bend. And then I'm just going to, well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I'm going to come in with my pliers, and I'm just going to give a gentle bend back towards myself like that to create the little back of the earring. I'm going to come in with my snippers and even up my wires right here, so that I have my cute little tiny little earring wires right there. And I like these little ones for this type of earring project. You can make yours longer if you want, and I have the whole other video, which is, I have a link for it for you guys up in the information at the top. Just hover over the little eye and click. All right, so now we're just going to put our earrings together. And for this, I'm going to be using my little chain nose pliers that I have the little rubberized tip on. We're going to start with our 6mm. And to open up the loop, don't bring it back out in a round motion. What you want to do is bend it over like that to get it open. Then we're going to go into our loop that we just made at the top of our earring. Take your chain nose pliers and roll back in the other direction to close your loop, just like that. And so there we have one. And now I want to use one of my 4mm that is a beaded link, not my little end piece, and just do the same exact thing. I'm going to push sideways to open my link. I'm going to come through the next chain link on my previous link, and then I'm just going to close them up. I'm going to add one more of my 6mm. Down here onto my 4mm. Make sure that I got my links closed up like that. And now I can take one of my little dangles that I made with the head pin, open it the exact same way, and put that down to the bottom. And close my link right back up. So now I have an adorable, completely handmade earring. So I'm going to use the same exact technique, And I'm going to put this earring together right here. And so there is the adorable little pair of earrings. Just one tip to make sure that you go back and double check and make sure that all your little links are closed up good, and use your chain nose pliers to gently squeeze closed any open spots that you might have left. And there's just a really cute, quick and easy little beautiful pair of completely handmade earrings that are, you know, have that extra little special touch for your holiday gift givings this year. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. Like I said, if you guys want to learn the technique for this right here, these earrings with the post, that Denise Matthews video is fantastic. And I just love the way that that comes out. It is just really spectacular. You'll want to watch the one, I think it's called the Academy Awards. Anyhow, where she comes down and leaves this little loop at the bottom so that you can add this beautiful dangle with your new perfect simple loops. All right, folks, so that is it for now. I hope to be working on the video for the wire wrap loops just as soon as I can, and I'll get that out to you pretty quick, because this is another project you can make in less than an hour for your holiday gift giving. All right, this is Katrina from the Alluring Bead Boutique. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and follow me on my social media. Jump over to my website and subscribe to my newsletter. I have some new patterns up and available. This is my Green Goddess ring. You can make this in under an hour. Folks, I adore this ring. It is like one of my all-time favorite projects that I came up with, and it's really a beautiful, gorgeous little ring. The Opulent Opals pattern is ready, and I have the bracelet that matches the ring for the Green Goddess. This is not an hour project, or this is several, you know, this is like probably a good 2 hours or maybe a little bit more. But here's the ends for the bracelet that I made with my little video that's on here for the cubic right angle weave bracelet ends using the mini duos. And now I have this pattern for I have the Storm bracelet, which has this beautiful retro-y type watch style band on it. And someone had sent me a message on my website asking for a pattern for this, so I went ahead and got one done. I love this bracelet. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very elegant. And you could make this probably within an hour, maybe a little bit longer. All right, so that's it for today, folks. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again real soon.